Hi guys, I'm Sarah Hall, and today we're going to talk about one of my favorite personal guides, Mother Mary. Mother Mary is an ascended being who works in close alignment with the angels to guide peace, protection, comfort, love, and goodness into the human race. Just like a bodhisattva, Mother Mary's compassionate purpose is to remain close to the human race, to help, heal, and guide us until we have eradicated all suffering. She embodies the divine archetype of the mother and acts as an unconditionally loving spiritual mother to all of humanity. Now, though Mother Mary is associated with Christianity, since of course she is the mother of Jesus, she powerfully loves all human beings, no matter their religious beliefs or affiliations. In fact, as a child, when I was struggling with Catholicism, which is the religion I was raised in, Mother Mary taught me that religion is largely made up of the human contrived politics of spirituality, and that God, Jesus, other ascended masters, and the angels love and welcome everyone in the world, regardless of these religious politics. There are certainly many beautiful aspects of all religions around the world, and I personally respect religion for the good that it offers. But when it comes to excluding or persecuting others based on their beliefs, Mother Mary and the other ascended beings teach that this just isn't the nature of God. Mother Mary is an incredibly wise, powerful teacher and healer. And I hope that after this video, you'll be inspired to call upon her wisdom and guidance in your life. So first, let's talk about Mother Mary's human life. Again, most of us know Mother Mary as the mother of Jesus, but there is so much to her story that seems so mythological that many people wonder what from the Bible's version of her story is real and what isn't. How can we really come to know her? Well, after working closely with Mother Mary, really for my whole life, and channeling her messages, I would like to share what I have learned. In fact, the angels asked me to teach you guys about Mother Mary because they know that the world is in need of a mother's healing touch now. So, as you listen to these words, allow yourself to receive and feel the presence of Mother Mary. Let her healing into your heart so that you can experience and share her love yourself. According to Mother Mary, she was raised in a very small village in an era when the world seemed to be a much smaller kind of place than it is now. Mary was raised in a small mystical sect of Judaism known as the Essenes. From the time of Mary's birth, her community was actually aware that an ascended being was to be making an entrance into the world soon. Wise mystical prophets and seers had been channeling this message from the spirit world that a new consciousness was arriving to lead humanity farther into the light. Now, one of the messages received by these prophets was that their people, the Essenes, were among those ready to birth this new consciousness, and that the people should prepare by purifying their energy to receive what was coming. Now, just like many young girls who were coming of age in her community, Mary was taught to prepare herself for motherhood, conception, and birthing from a spiritual perspective, with the attitude that she may become a divine vessel for birthing this new consciousness. She was both highly educated in spiritual doctrines and mysteries, and taught how to spiritually hold space for high vibrational energies within her physical body. She engaged in spiritual practices akin to deep meditation that allowed her to receive these energies and to channel messages from the spirit world as well. Mary also had an incredibly powerful knowledge of yogic practices that she used to purify and uplift herself at the levels of mind, body, and spirit. So as a result of this devoted, lifelong spiritual work, Mary was capable of conceiving a child without a father. Now, if your scientifically conditioned mind is having trouble with information, like mine was when I first really accepted it, then trust me, you're not alone. As I mentioned before, I was raised Catholic, so of course, I was told to believe that Mary was a virgin when she gave birth to Jesus. And of course, like all children, I believed that that was true. I believed what I was taught, at least at first. But let me tell you that by the time I was 13 years old, I was a self-proclaimed atheist and wanted to challenge literally everything I heard from religions. My very logical, analytical thinking told me that virginity was something that the church wanted us to associate with Mary because there was so much shame placed around sexuality. I also dove into the historical context around such things and contemplated that virginity, of course, was considered valuable because people used it to control how property was passed down through marriage alliances. To me, the Judeo-Christian cultural valuing of virginity and shaming of sexuality outside marriage was just another example of how women were negatively controlled in the past and kept subservient to men in that patriarchal society. Furthermore, I reasoned that one only really needs to study a little mythology to see that stories of miraculous conceptions litter the pages of myths from all over the world, from the ancient Egyptians, the Greeks, the Romans, the Chinese, the Aztecs, and so many more. I reasoned that, well, of course the church wanted to give Jesus a story of a miraculous virgin birth. I reasoned that early evangelists were borrowing mythological material from stories that non-Christians were already familiar with to help convince them to recognize and accept Jesus as a God and hero, like the ones they already knew in the stories that they heard growing up. For a time in my life, I really clung to this kind of scholarly analysis of church teachings because, in truth, the story of Jesus has been edited and altered many times throughout history to serve political agendas since the time of ancient Rome and onwards. And I so dearly wanted to know the real Jesus and Mother Mary. Well, it took me some work on my own human ego to accept it, but according to everything I have repeatedly learned in channeling the angels and Mother Mary herself, her conception of Jesus was indeed a divine miracle, achieved at a time when she was a virgin. To conceive without a partner is a powerful spiritual achievement that represents total transformation of the mind and body in becoming a vessel for spiritual energy. And even in non-Christian mythology worldwide, this idea symbolizes a very real and pure form of spiritual awakening that represents higher consciousness entering into the world. And just because the idea of miraculous conception had existed long before Mother Mary achieved it, didn't make it any less real. And I truly trust exactly what the angels and Mother Mary have communicated directly to my heart, because I recognized and felt the truth of it. Now, according to the angels, when Mary was practicing to prepare for womanhood, she often brought herself into deeply transformational states of meditation. Mary was often visited by the angels in this state, and they had told her that she would be a mother to a spiritual master. While in these meditative states, Mary's cells were actually being altered by the powerfully high vibrations in which she was coming into contact. Mary was also very aware of her feminine cycle, which, by the way, was very carefully synced with the moon and the earth. She achieved a very powerful spiritual state during the peak of ovulation that caused her egg to be fertilized by way of her own physical channeling of spiritual energy. She received pure, high spiritual DNA through this meditative transmission that allowed the physical body of Jesus to begin to grow within her womb. And in truth, she was not actually the only Essene to achieve conception in this way. There were other wise ones of this community who also conceived in a similar manner, though most were with sexual partners, according to the angels. Many special souls were being born during this special time because the Christ consciousness was being prepared for by the entering of many souls who would support it. Mother Mary also wants to share that her relationship with her son Jesus was one that she carefully planned and crafted so that Jesus would receive the best spiritual upbringing and education possible. Mary ensured that her son was brought up among common, simple folk so that he could learn spiritual truth and divine love in a humble, down-to-earth manner. She also played a strong role in selecting Jesus' teachers among her Essene community, as well as wise masters in Egypt and in other locations where they lived. Mary wanted Jesus to be taught by wise individuals who specifically kept their faith and understanding of spirit very pure because they sought it from within the heart and didn't get lost in dogma. Mary also introduced Jesus to spiritual healing techniques that she herself used on her son as a child, and that he later mastered as he performed his healing miracles. Mary was truly a soulmate for her son. She acted as the perfect mirror of divine love, through which Jesus was to grow and learn in his childhood. According to Mary, she actually traveled with her son a great deal during his time as a wandering mystic, healer, and teacher. She loved to see her son speak in front of crowds, and she herself did a good deal of teaching as well among circles of women and little children. Like her son, she was a master storyteller and could bring a person into a state of healing and perfect understanding just by telling a simple tale. In Mary's later years in life, though she didn't travel quite as much, she still continued to act as a healer and a teacher for many years after her son's death. She remained a beacon of pure divine love for all who met her. According to Mary, she spent quite a lot of time fasting in hermitage as she prepared for her physical death. She spent her time praying for the world's healing and delving into deeply powerful meditative states that prepared her to ascend and transform into a very high heavenly vibration upon her death. So now that we know a little more about Mother Mary's human life, what about her work as a spiritual guide? So as I stated, Mother Mary acts as a divine mother to all, regardless of religion. She works very closely with all other Divine Mother ascended masters in heaven, including beings such as Parvati, Ishtar, Kuan Yin, and so many more. Together, they form circles of prayer and healing for the world. To call upon them, you can simply ask to be surrounded by the Divine Mother, or the Council of Divine Mothers. As a Divine Mother, Mary especially guides parents and children and those who are struggling with illness or poverty or violent abuse. Many times I've actually seen visions of Mother Mary sending comforting, healing energy to areas of conflict in the Middle East, especially Syria, where she is especially working to visit comfort upon children in war areas during their sleep time. Mary is also a powerful, powerful healer of all physical and mental maladies. She is especially powerful to call upon for help with things like autism and ADHD, both for parenting techniques and for intervention with the children with these diagnoses. She cares for those with cancer also and many other major kinds of life illnesses. She's also an excellent comfort and healer for those with any sleep issues, trauma, and PTSD. Her special mode of healing is always very mothering, and she embraces, comforts, and sends radical healing, unconditional love to those who call upon her. When you call on Mother Mary, you may notice that she often works with white and soft light blue colored light. She channels white light to purify and dissolve all suffering and fear, while her soft blue light creates deeply calm, soothing energy like a lullaby that transforms your vibrational state into one of greater peace. The element Mary most often works through is water. She infuses water with powerfully healing vibrations. I have often actually been guided to call upon her to help channel healing energy into water and food that I eat or drink to uplift the energy of my physical body. This is an especially supportive practice if you're going through spiritual changes in which you are coming into spiritual gifts and your personal vibration is changing as a result. In fact, Mary is a powerful teacher when it comes to any kind of physical or vibrational transformation, as of course she mastered this in her human life. As a teacher of physical transformation, Mary is also an expert dietitian and will guide you towards the best foods to eat for your body to experience optimal health. She's also a great guide to call on for gardening and loves to support us in growing our own healthy foods. Mary is often credited for directly intervening into the lives of those who call upon her or who have spiritual purposes rooted in spiritual work. For example, she appeared to a man named Juan in 1531 in Guadalupe, Mexico, in Lourdes, France in 1858 to a young girl named Bernadette, and guided Bernadette to a spring that she infused with healing vibrations, which you can still visit today. She appeared in Medjugorje to 6 young Bosnian children in 1981, and to 3 teenaged girls in Kibeho, Rwanda, from I think 1981 through 89, in which she prepared them for the coming of the Rwandan Holocaust of the 90s. She's been appearing to guide people in countless other stories that you can read about, but in each she gives the gift of spiritual truth, helping others with divine empowerment and finding their faith in the divine within. Mary has been one of my strongest personal guides throughout my entire life. In fact, actually my first experience with her was recounted by my own mom, who said that when I was just barely 2 years old, she came into my bedroom one morning to wake me up and get me ready for the day. She found me awake and chattering away with great happiness and excitement, and I told her that Mary had visited me and that we were talking. My mom was confused by this and asked, "Did you have a dream about your Aunt Mary?" And I told her no, with great confidence, and exclaimed that it was the Blessed Mother Mary who had visited me. My mom was shocked because at that age, she and my dad hadn't yet been taking me to church or anything like that, and didn't know how I could have really learned about Mother Mary's existence at all, because that's not really exactly a topic of conversation you're usually bringing up with a 2-year-old. When she asked me what Mother Mary told me, apparently I just wouldn't tell her what it was and giggled with happiness and said we were just talking, and I was super happy about it, kind of a little glow. Since then, Mother Mary has really been a very strong, positive presence in my life, helping me as I learned to open my spiritual gifts, and she was also a guide to me through some of my most difficult moments. She's easy to call upon too. Simply think or speak her name and hold the intention in your heart to connect with her. If you want to experience healing with Mary, I highly suggest my guided meditation, Healing with Mother Mary, which I'll put right over here in the little eye icon, and I'll also leave the link in the description below for you. This meditation was actually the result of channeling work that I had done with Mary and the angels. Every visualization in that meditation was given to me by Mother Mary herself. I also highly recommend actually praying the rosary. I don't consider myself Catholic or even really Christian in the traditional sense, though I have love and respect for all religions, but I do pray the rosary. I have had many powerful experiences praying the rosary in which the repetition of the words of the prayer helped to open up the energy of my upper chakras, bringing on an altered state of consciousness that allowed me to receive beautiful messages and energies from the divine. Another great way to feel Mary's presence is through mentally reaching out to her while listening to uplifting, beautiful music. The music acts as a means for raising your vibration so that you can more easily notice and feel the higher frequencies of Mary's presence. It's also great to connect with her while out in nature, connecting with bodies of water, gardens, or flowers, especially roses. Mary often sends roses as signs of her presence. In fact, I was once guided to pray a novena by my angels, which is a 9-day prayer sequence in which I was to call on Saint Therese of the Little Flower and on Mother Mary. So I did it, and I was told that by the 7th day that I should be receiving a sign that my prayers were heard and helping to transform my life. I was also given an image of a rose to use as my personal symbol of psychic awakening through that prayer sequence. Well, when I woke up on the 7th morning and left my house to go to class, I was in college at the time, a huge pile of rose petals had been scattered in the snow all over my porch. After 9 days, I found a full bouquet of roses lying on the sidewalk. And since then, I've often found roses in very random places like park benches when Spirit is trying to send me a sign. Mother Mary is a loving, powerful healer and teacher. And I hope you'll call upon her whenever you need a mother's love or wish to help someone else to heal. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, leave me a thumbs up to let me know and subscribe to my channel so that we can share more spiritual inspiration together. You can also keep in touch with me via my social media in the links you'll find in the description below, or you can visit my website, sarahhall.com, for a personal healing session or reading with me. All of my gratitude, love, and prayers go with you, my dear. Until we meet again, know that you are so loved and so very blessed. Bye!